Two fighting game werewolves mutilate each other, and we continue our discussion on Red vs. Blue. That on today's episode of BrobusCast Death Battle Edition. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of BrobusCast. I'm your host, Brobuscus. With me today is ZDogg.
Hey, you guys ever wonder who would win in a fight between red team and blue team? Huh. Deja vu.
And Richard.
What's up? Go vote tomorrow. Just kidding.
Did you really have to say that?
Yes.
And we also have Mate.
To answer your question, ZDogg, no. Only hopeless nerds on the internet care about that kind of crap.
Yeah, why do you think I'm asking you guys? Think about
Fair
it.
point.
It'd be totally badass.
Did
Sorry.
You just call us,
Huh, deja
hold
vu.
on, back up. Did you just call us hopeless?
Why do you know I'm not hopeless?
No. Anyway. Don't worry, I'm in that club too. What? Anyway. Anyway, yay. Death battle time again.
Yeah, been a while.
Yeah.
What's 3 weeks?
I mean, it's been like, what, once in a full moon?
Ha.
I
A coincidence.
think not.
That's actually a really great coincidence.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Because, okay, so as a side note, this fight, by the way, we're going to be talking about Saber Wolf versus John Talbane.
We finally got another Darkstalkers character after 10 years.
And they won! Hooray!
Yeah, you want to know what's funny? So this fight actually got pushed up a day. It came out on Halloween.
Yeah, it came out on Spooky
which is
Day.
very funny. I actually went back to our recording session last time, and I explicitly said that it's not coming out on Halloween.
Ha!
That got outdated real quick. But you know what else is on Halloween? A full moon.
First one we've had in 100 years or so.
Wow.
You know, they brought that up in the commentary, and they were just like, you know,
Wow.
with everything else that's going on in 2020, if the Death Battle curse turns everyone into werewolves, are bad.
Yes.
Oh,
Alright.
That would be a way
I
to
don't-
fuck up this year.
yeah, we all turn into lichens. And then
As long as I can-
Beckinsale has to come and kill us all in hot weather.
Hey, as long as I can still play video games and still do what I like doing, then
Yeah.
sure.
There you go.
There you go.
Priorities, man.
Priorities.
Priorities.
Speaking of priorities, the thumbnail hashtag thumbnails matter.
Yay. It's pretty good, actually, so yay.
It's
I give it a solid 6, 7 out of 10.
yeah, it's simple, it's basic, it's not really, it kind of gives us very little to talk about, but I mean, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Wish they would have done more with it. Maybe, have some cool Halloween aesthetics. Maybe filters, or I don't know, just something. But, hey, it's good.
Yeah, not really much to say. Congratulations, everybody, this is the quickest we talked about a thumbnail.
Yay.
Okay, so now comes the interesting part. We have the results. Okay, so last episode, we all were pretty much in agreement that the safest bet was to go for Saberwolf.
Yeah, because we didn't know they were going to play
I wasn't
strong.
on that, so...
I'm aware. I'm just talking
yes.
about like us three.
Yes, we did.
We all were like, okay, so safest bet is Saberwolf. So
Yeah, about
normally when stuff like that happens, I've noticed on our podcasts, normally when that happens, and
The opposite side
comes to
wins.
and Death Battle comes to a different result than we do, we either hold off on disagreement and wait for the Q&A, or we just flat out disagree.
Yeah.
However,
No.
I'm just gonna. I think I speak for myself, and I know I'm also gonna be speaking for Mate here. But I am going to go ahead and hold this L. I will agree with John winning.
Yeah. I mean, to be
Yeah, I
fair,
agree with John winning
think-
too. In fact, I heard some stuff before the fight came out. Yeah, there's no way John wasn't winning.
it was weird because honestly, we didn't know where they were gonna place John. But like, yeah, I like after hearing both analysis, I do definitely see John winning. It just we were unsure where they were gonna put him stat wise, which was the most confusing part. But I think where they did was good, and with what they gave, it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can agree. I mainly went for Saberwolf, not only because of the safest bet, but also bias.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I actually liked John as a character more than Saberwolf. So really, this didn't really affect me in any way.
Yeah. It should also be worth. It's also worth pointing out that this is coming from the perspective of people who are very much not experienced with these characters.
No.
So
The moral of the story with this fight is don't mess with Darkstalkers.
yeah.
They're kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, they're one of the. If I recall, they're like one of, if not the strongest fighting game versus of all time.
They're up there. I think Guilty Gear is.
Oh yeah, Guilty Gear.
I think it would go like
Okay.
Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and then Darkstalkers, at least from what I know.
That sounds about right.
And it's funny because future Darkstalkers fights are probably going to have the Darkstalkers characters lose.
Yeah.
Probably. Actually, I don't think all of them, but most.
Well, I mean, the only ones I can think of right now are like the only Darkstalkers characters I can think of right now that are due for a death battle are like Jeddah, Morgan, and maybe Dimitri.
Oh, Morrigan's absolutely winning.
Oh, BB Hood.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, against Peacock, please.
Um,
That's all I ask.
yeah, I know there's
I've actually heard how powerful Morgan is.
Yeah, she's absurd. Let's see. Like Jeddah's got. The most I hear for Jeddah is Dormammu.
Dormammu and also Void Dark from Disgaea.
Oh yeah. I don't know about Void Dark, but I'm pretty sure Dormammu kicks his skull in.
From what I know, thanks to friends, Void Dark is basically TLDR. Disgaea is freaking insane. It's like the Gurren Lagann of video games. And that's all you need to know. And that's all you need to know until we eventually have a guest on to explain it. Anyway.
So basically, what I'm hearing is Jeddah gets his skull caved in no matter what.
Yes, unless he can out-hacks them, which I don't know.
See, Morgan's got. I've heard Dizzy requested a lot from Guilty Gear. I remember Bayonetta was a huge request for a while before he fought Dante.
Trust me, losing to Dante was mercy.
Yeah.
Because for anyone who doesn't know how powerful Morgan is,
Yeah.
I've been told she can essentially end the universe whenever she wants.
Oh.
Yeah, she from what I've heard, she's stronger than Dimitri, who
Fun.
Who fought
Pyron.
who's a sentient galaxy that eats planets.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Darkstalkers is weird.
It is.
Speaking of Dimitri, though, there's Alucard from Castlevania who kicks his skull in.
Yeah.
Let's be wait. Oh, Castlevania. Sorry.
Yeah, Castlevania. If it was Helsing Alucard, then
Ah,
Well, we know
Dimitri
who he's fighting.
Dimitri has no business fighting Helsing Alucard. Although, speaking of which, before we get into the fight, I do want to mention. Okay, first off, the analysis on this one is super well done. Like I will actually watch the full episode this time around, which is a very good plus.
I gotta say though, for Saberwolf's analysis, I don't know why, but they painted him in a way that just makes me think he's a fusion of Beast from X-Men and TJ Combo.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, monster tries to cure it, had cybernetic implants put in his arms, ripped them out.
Which was freaking insane.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do want to quickly mention their little subtle, not so subtle tease in
For
Saber
next
Wolf's
season?
analysis.
Question mark.
Um,
For next. So allow me to do a dramatic retelling of the quote. Hold on, find it. Subtlety. So basically, in John's at the beginning of Saber Wolf's analysis, the line was they made a joke about Saber Wolf being a vampire because the backstory is very vampire-like, and
Feels
so
like I'm watching the episode.
and okay, come on, Wiz, spooky castle in the middle of nowhere, a weird cursed artifact. It's got Vaughn in his name. This is totally a vampire story. Then Wiz says, "No, that's for next year." And I think we all know what fight they're talking about at that point.
This is very interesting because I remember when we discussed season 8 in our previous podcast, we mentioned a vampire episode that is very assuredly coming next year.
If it doesn't, I'll be amazed.
I
Tio,
can confirm from unknown nameless resources that it is in fact coming next year.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Probably wasn't a smart idea to say it, but anyway.
Yeah.
If he's wrong,
Well, they said it.
It's just a bonus. We'll
Yeah, if
consider it a bonus for those who watch it. So.
if he's wrong,
Yeah.
then we'll.
Yeah.
If that turns
we'll
out to
either-
be wrong, then we'll just make fun of him for it.
Which means
Wait,
I need to binge 2 series before next year. Which I'm on part 3 right now. Never mind. Never mind.
It's Alucard versus Dio, in case anyone is confused as to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AKA Liam's baby.
Yep.
That he will give birth to.
AKA Alucard, you are so going to die.
Oh yeah.
Alright, anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, forget vampires. Back to the werewolves.
Yes. That's a very good
This was a
segue.
werewolf.
But that is a very good segue to talk about this episode's fight animation.
Oh, it's so good.
Holy crap, it was good.
I
Okay,
love this
I
so
think-
much.
I think it's safe to assume this is better than it has any right to be.
Kinda.
Yeah, in fact, I was talking to a friend, and we essentially call it the Shredder vs. Silver Samurai of this season. Where
Yeah,
Very
it's
good reason to.
where it's announced, and you think, okay, so it's just going to be one of those episodes where, you just watch it, and then you just wait to find out what's next. But then it comes out, and you're like, holy fucking shit, that was amazing!
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's a
good
unlike
way to
Shredder versus Silver Samurai, this has been a requested matchup since the series began.
True.
Yeah, but I have a
So-
feeling, and if anyone who was a super big who was a super big fan of this matchup is watching and I'm wrong about this, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure this was mostly requested due to characters and the fact that they're werewolves.
Yeah.
Not that it would be
Yeah.
not that it would be like a super top tier. Holy crap, this fight's gonna be amazing. I'm pretty sure most people expected this fight to just be like, it's good, and yeah.
I mean that could also be that they were going to use the low quality Saber Wolf sprites. So.
That's true.
Oh, thank God they didn't.
Yeah,
Thank
Thank
goodness.
gosh.
no. Yeah, you're all right. It is. It was.
By the
It
way,
was amazing.
can we petition to have the Shredder vs. Silver Samurai of this season be an official term?
Yes.
Yes. Sure.
I'll talk to the higher ups.
Officially done it.
Yeah, no, this episode was amazing. And believe it or not, the storyboards for this episode were actually slightly more amazing than this. And I gotta say, Lewis and his team did a great job translating because I got to see the storyboards for this episode. Oh my god! I was all like, how how is Lewis going to do this? And then I saw it, and then I'm like,
Technically, he didn't. He was the animation director, not an actual animator
Oh
on
yeah,
the
that's
fight.
right. He had barely anything to do with this animation.
Yeah, it was
Well-
it was mostly the new people or
oh,
the-
okay. Well,
Yeah,
well,
no,
that's good.
the
the
side.
hallway, like the alley scene, was done by the freelance team,
Yeah,
and when they're out in the graveyard, that was done by more in-house animators.
Yeah, well, I'm still gonna get. They're a part of Lewis's team, so I mainly am giving him the credit. But I'm also happy that these guys were able to beautifully translate the storyboards. So
I think
yeah, this
is-
animation.
I think this is the first 2D fight of the season to have a freelance team on board.
yeah,
Pretty sure the other ones.
Truly,
I'm pretty sure the other ones were all done by the in-house team.
yeah.
yeah.
That was a good decision. Again, yeah. this
And I mean,
animation-
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, no, it's crazy. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. These 2D fights just keep getting better and better. I swear to God,
Yeah.
I don't know how they do
Well, I was gonna say they need to get this team on more animations, please.
it. Yes, I,
Holy
Yeah.
crap! I want because this. I can't. Sorry. I'm not-
Okay. I will say,
God.
I will say, before we get into more gushing, I have two things I want to complain about.
Okay.
Just two. And they're both super minor, but one of them really bothers me.
Okay.
To get one,
I have one thing I'll say after you.
to get one super minor thing out of the way, I really wish Saber Wolf was blue. The dark gray Saber Wolf sprites. I get that that's more to do with his classic design over his reboot design, but I do massively prefer his reboot design. Actually, fun fact, I didn't know this until like a couple days ago, but those Saber Wolf sprites are actually somewhat modified and heavily reskinned Sabertooth sprites.
Oh,
That's
And I had no idea. But looking back now, yeah, I could see it.
yeah.
Well, no wonder they look very Capcom-like, because they pretty much are.
yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say, isn't that how the sprites are normally colored anyway?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying like they could, like, the animators could like, or the sprite artists could like paint
That's true.
like paint the sprites blue.
Yeah, or
That's true.
maybe just add some blue highlights in there, you know, if they couldn't paint the whole thing blue, but just, you know, yeah, I
Maybe.
get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the most minor complaint I could ever come up with. It just bothers me because I prefer his reboot design, but that's really it.
That's fair.
The other thing, and this is kind of an issue I had with Venom Chrono as well.
Okay.
Why do they not do mouth lip syncing anymore?
I don't know. I mean, given that they had the freelancers and some of the in-house team do this, it is kind of weird that they didn't do complete lip syncing. So yeah, I get where you're. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't view it as completely necessary for this one.
I guess. And I mean, to be fair, it wasn't, but
Yeah, no, you barely notice it unless you're like Brobuscus and you're looking and paying attention for certain little things, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
yeah, like that's a super minor thing, but it bothers me. And that's all I got. That's really it.
Speaking of super minor things that do bother us, my thing's just more so to do with John's sprite. Like, sometimes when he howls, it looks like he's more like unhinging his jaw and like spreading it rather than actually howling.
That's John.
That's more so just with the sprites,
Yeah.
like nothing to do with the actual animation. So
It also just makes you wonder. Like, it just makes you think, like, man, John's design is weird.
cool, but weird.
Cool, but weird.
Yeah.
Like his snout specifically. They mentioned this on commentary, but his snout is very like crocodile-esque, and it's weird.
Yeah,
As opposed to like, you know, a werewolf.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Actually, rewatching and I was just doing a look over. one thing that actually really kind of bothers me, it's another not minor nitpick. Where do his intestines go after the fire dragon? Do they just burn up?
I guess.
He's in.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm watching it back, so I can, reference stuff. And I was watching it like, wait, where do his intestines go?
I think that's
Suspension
just
of disbelief.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of the intestines,
We'll get
do
to
we all
that.
agree? Biggest fake out ever?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Totally.
Well,
I'm pretty
Like,
sure everyone at that point was like, "Oh, right, that's a wrap."
Yep, but no.
Yeah, like they
Great
even said in the
segue.
commentary. I'm pretty sure no one watching thought. I mean, he got his intestines ripped out. I'm sure he
Yeah.
still has a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, if it didn't kill him then, it'll probably kill him later.
Probably.
Probably die
I
over
want to
time.
see a reaction video of someone rooting for Saberwolf. just to see how that goes.
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So
Richard,
back to the
you're-
gushing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Richard, you're trying to say something.
I am. Oh,
Well, it sounded like it.
Oh well, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. I'm just trying to put into words again how awesome this was, particularly that moment because I don't know about y'all, but I love it when Death Battle experiments with their deaths and they try and go for something that we haven't seen before, and I love how it all got executed. And again, I gotta go ahead and give that to Liam and John, the storyboarder, because both of them had some sick ideas on how they were gonna do this.
Yeah, Chad
Thanks.
even said to Liam, like, he considers himself like a messed up person when, like, trying to come up with the most, like, out there deaths in the show, but when Liam gave his idea, he was like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Do I even need
Yeah,
to?
and
Do I even need to remind you all what Chad's original idea was for how Batman was gonna die?
Oh,
no, you do
God.
not have to remind me. No, yeah, but again, more points, extra brownie points go to John because he actually made it his mission to make this death as brutal, fucked up,
Yeah.
and completely shocking as possible. Like I got to say in that aspect, he nailed it.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
I definitely agree. God.
I'm
Like,
still waiting.
I-
I'm still waiting to hear if someone vomited watching that.
I was about to ask, like, did any of us? Did anyone
I
hear?
know I did it.
I was
No.
shocked. I
If-
didn't, but like I was very shocked. Like how.
If you
brutal
want to
it
know
got.
my reaction, okay, I'm about to sound like a sick bastard here, like a really fucked up person. But as soon as Saberwolf whipped out John's intestines, I screamed laughing. I had the biggest grin on my
Oh my
face
God.
because I was like,
Ugh.
yes, yes. I was all like, oh, so awesome. And
Okay,
then
it does make you sound a little masochistic, not gonna lie.
no,
Yeah, it does.
well, again, I grew up. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, not being obsessed with Mortal Kombat. So there's that. But then the later death. But then John's Saberwolf's actual death, where he's crawling, he's trying to get away. You see, but then John pulls him
And then
back,
it's-
and he scratches
so
on the
brutal.
tombstone. I love
The only-
those kinds of deaths.
And the only color you see is red. Like,
Yeah, no. Well, it's not
Yeah.
just red.
That was-
It's not just red. It's red and gray, and I love how it shifts from red and gray, where those are the only colors on screen. Kind of like Sin City, where it's black and it's red and it's white, and just seeing the
Or Mad
extra
World, actually.
detail on the blood and the gushing. It's all like, oh my god! I was all like,
Yeah.
this is the best fucking death of this season.
Oh, yeah.
No other death can compete with it.
I call it the best 2D death of the season.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
um,
I would
Which
put
is-
it up there as the best, like of any episode.
this is actually another reason I call it the Shredder v Silver Samurai of this season, because that freaking death, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I gotta give massive props to the voice
No,
actors.
again, and again, I.
Are you done?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I gotta give massive props to the voice actors for, like, John's line, "I'm no monster, but tonight I'll make an exception." I love that line
so much.
That's gonna be a contender. Okay, so a little bit of a side story here. The DB cast server that me, ZDogg, and Richard are in. We do like award ceremony sort of things.
Oh yeah.
One of the categories is best line, like best line of dialogue.
Yeah. If that doesn't win, I'm gonna be mad.
No.
If anything should win, it's gonna be Beerus's "I am the impossible."
No, like I feel like this eclipses. Like no offense, but I feel like this does eclipse that. Like especially because again, what I also love about this episode is how it kind of makes John the MVP. It kind of puts his character. Like again, and I mentioned this in my review because if there's one, this is what I've always loved about the werewolves. The werewolves are just these mindless beasts who fall on their animal instincts. But sometimes you get that one story where a werewolf is choosing not to be what he is on the inside, and he's trying to battle and regain his humanity. And I love that John represented that, whereas with Saberwolf, he was just the mindless beast who had no choice. All he was doing was just following his instinct. So I love that we got a clash of that in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, character-wise, John was hands down the best character in this animation because of how he was trying to prove he's better than Saberwolf because he can control his instincts, but when the time is right, he'll let it go. Like, he'll give into those animal instincts. And it was just awesome. Like, I would also say that John should get, even if John doesn't win, but he obviously is going to be nominated for Best Characterization, because I think they know his character.
Yeah. I will say, I think, okay, I agree with what you said, but I also view this as kind of a double-edged sword. And this is kind of something that harkens back to TJ versus Balrog as well. When a character is viewed as such an MVP, it makes it kind of clear that they're going to win.
Yes.
I'm guessing they made that him pulling out the intestines like to show like, hey, he's not totally out, but it was still Disney. Obviously, he was gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, Saberwolf will have his moments, but
sure.
But
it just
from a narrative perspective, it would have made no sense if John didn't win.
No, it really didn't, and I like
it does
that.
kind of like say they had the same narrative, but Saberwolf did win. Like obviously, like the results are based on the research, not the animation. Duh. But and this is again, this goes back to TJ versus Balrog. Imagine everything in TJ versus Balrog played out the exact same way, but Balrog won.
Like there would have been there would have just been a conflict of interest, and it wouldn't have worked. Because I feel like if they're trying to create a cohesive narrative where they're making this character be the MVP, they're giving him the empathy, they're giving him the drive, the determination, and this other character that person is fighting is just a roadblock that he has to overcome, but somehow the roadblock wins. It doesn't work. Like, it really doesn't mesh well from a narrative perspective. So, yeah, that's another thing I didn't even realize, Brobuscus, and you hit the nail right on the head. Like, and I'm happy that didn't happen here, but yeah, at the same time, I can't deny, Saberwolf did kind of feel like, again, I get it was intentional, but he did kind of feel like a mindless beast who had no empathy in him whatsoever, and that's not necessarily his fault.
I also feel that kind of works in his favor because that was also one of the main reasons John won, because of that. So it is also a good way to show it off in the fight itself. Like
Yeah, I
one
guess
of his
that's
main
true.
advantages.
But I will say, I
Also-
think sorry.
Also, don't think we should forget to give credit to Saberwolf's voice actor, Chris Guerrero.
Oh, we'll get to that.
I mean,
Um,
we're not. No, we're not. It's just
What?
well.
Well,
Go ahead.
Am I the only one who's more convinced he's actually a demon?
oh yeah, he's a demon, 100%. Anyway, I think that's
Yeah, no.
going back to MVP thing for a second. I think that's why I do kind of prefer Wally versus Archie Sonic, aside from just me being a Sonic fan. Sonic definitely was. Okay, I think it's safe to agree that Sonic was the MVP of that fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it wasn't like Wally was just an afterthought.
No.
It definitely like, the fight does definitely give off the impression that Wally does deserve this win, but also making sure that Sonic is as cool as possible.
Yeah, no. I mean, because again, and Wally had something to fight for, which was his wife, his kids, and his cousin.
Is his cousin or his
Where
sister?
Sonic-
Because I'm too used to the CW show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sister. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay,
you're right.
I was making sure. Just making
Sorry,
sure.
it's been a while since. No, it's okay. But yeah, no. But whereas with Sonic, he didn't have anything to fight for, but at the same time, it's all like, okay, but he's not necessarily. It's not like he doesn't have these things. It's just again.
Richard
it's a
trying to
clash.
imply that Sonic doesn't give a shit about his friends.
Yeah.
No, I'm not implying that. I'm just saying, like, in
He's not
terms of the-
specifically fighting for them in this.
Exactly. Yes. That. Thank you. Thank you.
It's called a joke.
I know. Anyways, I will say that aside, objectively speaking, I think this fight's way better. But I think I will enjoy watching Wally versus Sonic more. Just,
Yeah. No. I think I'm
because of
kind
that. But
conflicted.
at the same time, if we're talking, all bias aside, this fight's better. I'm just gonna say this now. This fight's better, and it's weird because I was not expecting that. Like I said,
Yeah,
this fight is way better than it has any right to be. That's why. That's why I think that.
Yeah. No.
like- But like throughout the entire fight too, like Lewis even said in commentary that there's only like 30 seconds in the entire fight that doesn't have blood.
I think he said 30.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I
what
thought
he
you.
said.
Oh, I heard 3.
No.
No,
he said that.
30. Which is that's insane. That moment in the graveyard when they're like slashing at each other. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
the
that's
blood
how you know where this is going.
Yeah, no, and the blood splashes on the tooth. That's another thing I love. Again, I love that I love that this script. I love that Liam, John, Lewis's team, and just they took advantage of the fact that these are not men, these are not men, these are monsters, but one of them has the conscience of a man, and the other one is still a monster. So I love how they kind of played that into the animation. So in that sense, Brobuscus is absolutely right. It is definitely better than Wally versus Sonic in that aspect because, again, that fight is just a bunch of guys running around and they're broken as fuck. But here,
Yeah.
these are violent creatures who are just fighting for survival. So yeah, no, I love that, and I agree with Brobuscus. I didn't expect this fight to be that good than it has the right to be. I was expecting it to be good, but I was
Yeah.
not expecting it to be great.
Yeah, like we knew it was gonna be good. We mentioned it as such. But we didn't think it was gonna be this good.
Yeah.
No, like I generally do not have anything negative, or I wish I was able to find little flaws like you guys, but I just couldn't because I was just enticed with it.
To be fair, our flaws aren't like that. Like mine was just like, oh whatever, who cares?
Yeah, like they're no big deal. Like they're
Yeah.
Mine is
Yeah.
just
breakers.
how the sprite for John might look in a couple frames.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not that big a
and
deal.
mine was mostly just preference. Like it wasn't that
Yeah.
big a deal. I will also say, this is kind of more of a result thing, but this is probably the least affected I am by my character losing. Like, I did not care one bit that Saberwolf lost.
Nor did I, honestly. Although,
I mean, okay, I cared a little bit.
Well, sure,
but
like it's a character I like more losing.
I say that.
Yeah, no, again, because I'm a Killer Instinct fan, I did care a little bit, but at the same time, I am not a Darkstalkers fan. I will never get into the series, not because I don't think it's bad, it's just because it's not my interest. I don't like complicated, overcomplicated animes or video games. Those I just can't get into, but I loved that John got the victory here, and that's so weird, because... Again, I've been a fan of Killer Instinct long before I even knew what Darkstalkers was. Yeah. And yet I was all like, well, hey, John, hey, Saberwolf, you did your best. You know?
Yeah, like when I say affected, when I say I get affected by the character losing, like, I mean, like, it gets a reaction out of it. Like, Zuko vs. Todoroki,
like, you feel sad.
Yeah. Like, Zuko vs. Todoroki, I was upset to see Zuko lose. Wally vs. Sonic, and by extension Mario vs. Sonic, I was devastated to see Sonic die.
Yeah, me too.
Venom vs. Corona, I was borderline ruined by that. Just to name some examples. But this one, I was like, oh, John won. Like, I was kind of surprised because the consensus was Saberwolf wins.
I know.
And I was also like, oh, he died. All right. Like that was.
I'm not gonna lie. After finding out what I have about Darkstalkers, that kind of seems funny.
Yeah.
To be fair, we actually didn't know about the Anakaris thing.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
The most I heard about him was he lifted pyramids or something. I don't remember every single detail, but like he lifted pyramids or something, and that's why we put him at town level in our last discussion. We didn't really know that he sunk all of Egypt.
Yeah. Speaking of, by the way, someone give Lousy a beer.
I know, right?
Whatever he drinks.
For freaking calculating all of Egypt. Dear gosh.
Dude, not only that, but the info that's from is like,
oh my,
is like super obscure. Lousy had that like years ago before this was even considered, just because he's a Darkstalkers nut.
Yeah, and they even said in the commentary that it wasn't really like necessary for the result, but they just thought this is so like obscure, like we gotta put it in.
Yeah.
Because like it comes from a source that we don't have access to. Normally we wouldn't have access to it. Lousy is really lucky that he had that.
And again, I think him having that and him getting it, it definitely was the cherry on top of this episode, research wise.
Yeah.
And again, you know, like I don't focus on the research portion of my of these episodes anymore, because I personally just can't get into them, and I sometimes even disagree with them. But for this one, I was all like, okay, I know Lousy's going to do this fight justice, because again, he's the one researcher that consistently goes out of his way to get the extra, to get this one little missing link that I'm pretty sure they would say it's not necessary, but he'll do it anyway, and I like that. So he really did a good job here.
Yeah, I mean, they could have...
Translation, Richard doesn't like any of the other researchers, apparently.
That's nothing against them, it's just, again, this
Hey,
again,
you said Lousy was the only one that you looked up to, and whatnot.
Yes.
Yes,
I did, but let's not take that. Let's not get personal with that now.
Yeah, let's stop before people think you're actually serious. No. I'm pretty sure John would have won regardless, and even then, I mean, yeah, it's not necessary. He sunk Egypt. just saying
That's
that is
something
much
that-
more than what Saber Wolf
Yeah,
is capable of. But
Yeah, and remember the last time where they brought up a feat? Like, remember the whole stadium feat for Todoroki?
Yes.
They just brought it
Yeah.
up in passing. They literally said they don't even need to calculate that. But for this one, it's kind of an interesting contradiction, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that in a well, here it's all like they did. They did give a calculation, even though I'm pretty sure they were just ready to not even bother with it because. Again,
yeah, because
this
they didn't
character
need to.
Sunk, yeah,
He
no,
sunk Egypt.
that's it. That's all you need to know, and then you can do the math when in your head on how many tons that would be equivalent to in terms of TNT.
Dude,
or
if you
what
ask
have
me to do that maths in my head, I'd tell you
I know,
to
right?
fuck off.
Oh gosh.
But no, yeah, yeah. The researchers definitely popped off on this one.
Yeah.
Their constant hyping up on this one was definitely,
warranted.
yeah. And Liam too. This is one of Liam's best ones. This is like
Oh yeah.
they really wanted to make sure to let people know that yeah, we're fans of these characters, we're fans of these game series. We really wish they got more respect. Boy, howdy, do we know Darkstalkers needs more than what they've got.
I know, right?
Yeah, no.
And yeah, I'd say it shows. It definitely shows that they're fans of Killer Instinct and Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
I'm sure like very big fans of these franchises are going to like gush over this episode.
Oh
with
yeah.
very very good reason. So yeah.
Alright.
Oh, also, the dead guys lying around, those are foot soldiers.
Yep.
Whoops.
So that's funny. You know what?
Yeah.
Duo pointed out like one of the like Saberwolf used a foot soldier to block John's dragonfire.
Yes.
So that's kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
All right, and then yeah, the voice actors.
They did good.
Yeah. As we mentioned before, Chris Guerrero is a demon.
Confirmed.
Yes.
I refuse
Yeah.
to. I refuse to believe otherwise, and I'm totally all right with that.
Maybe
A
that's
demon.
why he loses. Like, no, demon! Back, I say! You will not win, demon!
Yes.
Chris Guerrero is the new Nicholas Angelilli.
So
What
that
are you
means
talking about? He's
so-
been
so
the
that-
Nicholas of this
so that-
series ever since we
so wait
started.
that means he'll win next time, right?
And then
Uh,
immediately start losing again.
Sad.
No, yeah.
I mean, if anything,
Chris-
Nicholas can say he's no longer the Sean Bean of Death Battle.
True.
I'm pretty. Well, he hasn't. But yeah, I mean, despite Chris losing, he still gave a good performance to a somewhat basic character, and
Yeah.
I really that's one of the only things I kind of feel bad for. It's like, man, it's all like the only time Chris got good range was when he played Nathan Drake, and
different guy. Different guy.
Yeah, that was
wasn't-
someone
wasn't
else.
Chris Guerrero.
Oh, that wasn't. Oh, okay. Well,
No,
still.
Guerrero's the guy who does. He did Gara. He did Bane. And he
Okay.
did Carnage.
Okay, well, those three, he got more range. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad performance. It's just, again, I kind of feel like, man, John literally lucked out on everything in this episode. And that's including voice acting.
Yeah. Speaking of, yeah, his voice actor. I can't comment too much, but from the one clip we saw, yeah, I'd say he sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
No, he was good. Very convincing. Had good delivery. Marissa, of course, deserves all the credit because she's able to give great voice direction to these actors, and it shows that this was well done in that aspect.
Yeah. Also, apparently, John's voice actor is like this very popular YouTuber or something.
I think Jello Apocalypse.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Which I had no idea. So
I
It's
yeah.
Brendan Blader, by the way,
yes, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. He
who
also
voiced him
created.
in the Death Battle. I mean,
Yeah. He also created Epithet Race. Apparently.
Yes. Which go watch that.
Um,
I'm gonna shill it because it's good. Anyway.
and now you know why I brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Because it's a good
I
show.
really
Because
would
it's a
not
good
have brought
show.
this. I really would not have brought that up otherwise.
Yes, which I was apparently oblivious on because I don't know. It is good
hey,
stuff. So go support
Speaking
him.
of a guy named Brandon,
Oh yeah. Oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh.
Oh.
Okay. The soundtrack.
we're
Blood
not
Moon.
worthy. We're
Yeah.
not worthy.
it finally has vocals, lyrics.
Okay, so as a reference, the YouTube version is not out yet for some
yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Damn
So-
it!
That's good. That's good to
So
know.
all of this is based on what we hear in the episode, which doesn't really matter because it slaps regardless. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I
best
want
track.
I want to hear the
Obviously.
full version of it. I want to hear this like now.
Yeah, same.
Man, it is so good.
It is.
Granted,
Um,
like most of the lyrics are kind of hard to tell. Sometimes. in my
I'm
opinion.
sure we'll be able to
Uh,
understand it better when it comes out.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, no. I was able to understand it a little bit, but I really could, and I could tell that it had a little bit of character in it because, and that's a good thing because I don't want vocal tracks to just be wallpaper background music. I want them to actually slap. I want them to have characters inside, like something you can picture. Having something you can picture inside your head without even watching the episode, and I think this had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's an interesting note. This track's vocals were not just done by Brandon.
Oh, yeah, it was
had
done.
an assistant.
Oh, let me guess.
Trey Watson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He helped out with the vocals, and this is interesting because that guy actually knows Nick Gordon. And for those who need a reminder, Nick Gordon is the composer for Killer Instinct.
That's funny. That's funny. That's
So
funny.
Mick Gordon, notice this track, please.
Yes, please.
I mean,
That's hilarious.
Death Battle already got Omega Sparks,
That's true.
So
so
it could
it's
happen.
possible.
Imagine
Yeah,
Mick
no.
Gordon doing tracks for this.
I mean, to be fair, he's
that would
doing.
be
I mean,
lit.
he's doing the. Isn't he doing them for Red vs. Blue Zero?
No, Mick
Or is
Gordon,
that-
not Omega Sparks.
No, I thought that was. Never mind.
No, Omega Sparks is doing
Okay,
stuff
I was
for
confusing what
RVD
I
Zero,
was,
but
Okay, I was confusing what I saw on Twitter. Never mind.
Oh, also, like KO Computer, this track's genre is metal.
yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does. It fits with the whole aesthetic, and I also love how it doesn't go over the top metal. You know, the type where it's just headbanging, and they don't slow down with it. They don't take their time to let it breathe. No, it's just constant headbanging metal. You know, the kind of that Beavis and Butthead would listen to. I don't know how else to describe it than that, but this track didn't have that. It knew when to lay back. It knew when to lay back and just build up to the metal vocals, and I love that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
holy shit. Yeah. And
Yeah.
oh, man.
Alright. Is that everything we have to say? Because
I-
there's
Where the hell is this track? Damn it!
I'm just gonna say this. They were asked on the cast, like, hey, considering this is a werewolf episode, why wasn't the track done by their wolf? They actually did say they thought about just naming the track after their wolf, but having it be made by Brandon just a joke. I wish that was the name. That'd be funny.
Yeah. 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 I
But
assume that's
also,
everything.
their Wolf are busy with another fight, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Well, well, I assume we're done with this episode's discussion. So if by a bit you mean
Actually,
like right now,
actually, wait. There are two things I wanted to ask in relation. One thing I want to say, one thing I want to ask. One, the combo breaker thing must continue in all Killer Instinct fights, please.
Oh,
Yes.
it has to.
I've seen that on
Yeah.
like on Twitter compiling all of them, and I love it. Also, I find it funny that Yoshi's the only non-Killer Instinct one to do it. Which, Mario bias,
Also-
yay.
also they really need to make up for that Sub-Zero vs. Glacius one because that was
True,
bad.
because that one was
Um,
bad. Alright, and one last thing, which is kind of unrelated, but also related. So we talked about what the next Darkstalkers fight is. What do you guys think the next Killer Instinct fight will be?
I mean,
Oh.
I've seen Spinal versus Cervantes thrown around.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or there's
I
like
really
Jago
wanna-
versus
Liu Kang.
Liu
I
Kang.
want
There
to
we
see
go.
Jago in.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I want to see Jago in.
Yeah,
Death
same.
Battle.
I really like Jago.
What? Yeah, no, Jago is awesome. Maybe the pirate guy or
Spinal.
the mummy
Spinal.
skeleton.
Yeah, I just brought up Spinal.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, or the mummy character.
Maybe I don't know
know.
who you'd fight though.
Yeah.
Maybe they can bring Riptor back because I know Riptor vs. Reptile is a big one.
True.
Yeah. Or yeah. No, that's good.
I know a friend who loves Killer Instinct really wants to see Cinder on. So,
Oh yeah.
versus-
Yeah.
What's
someone.
Cinder? I think it's Cinder versus the Human Torch. I
Or
think that's
Ace.
the big one.
Yep.
Yes.
If that's the case, rip all of Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Big sad.
Yeah.
or maybe
Human
Ace
Tor-
from One Piece.
The Human Torch is busted. Oh yeah, Ace too.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, just wanted to bring that up since we talked about the next Darkstalkers fight, and I wanted to
Yeah.
Even
No.
That's
perfectly balanced
Yeah,
as
no.
all things should be. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. No. I guess my last thing to say on this episode is it's in my after thinking about it, this is in my top 3. Like it is just amazing.
I'd say
I-
top 5.
Yeah,
Which is still-
Well,
which is
again,
still
I'm gonna
good,
go
but,
back. I think we are gonna go back, and I think we are gonna go back and look at this season and probably decide, okay, what fights were in our top 5, our top 3. What have you.
I just know that so far my favorite is still Goro versus Machamp.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Yeah,
That's
fair
up there
enough.
too.
But yeah, no, Lewis's team have just given us arguably some of the best 2D fights I think we've ever had, and I really,
Oh, yeah.
really hope Season 8 can continue this, because I gotta tell
I'm
you,
sure they will.
Look, yeah, no, I'm just saying, it's all like, it's so weird how the 2D sprites have just evolved throughout this season. Like, they started off kind of at a low point, and then they just kept getting higher and higher and higher in terms of their epicness, and I love that. So yeah, no, this episode's great. I love it. I'm gonna watch it every Halloween.
Understand.
As
Fair.
yes. Now
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
wait another 10 years to give us another Halloween fight.
Or another
God dang
Darkstalkers
it.
episode.
No,
that's what I was
or-
thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
please don't look.
Do,
Oh.
do come on, do Jason versus Michael next. Do it, please. You have no excuse now.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things I forgot to comment on, like Darkstalkers related.
Okay.
So when they brought up Felicia,
Yeah.
okay, I know it's a bit of a weird subject, but
Okay.
Oh gosh.
no,
This is
those
gonna get
lines,
demonetized.
no, those lines about
Oh
as
my
far as we know they're just friends. Yeah, but the internet will give you 34 reasons why. That's BS. Well, despite what DeviantArt thinks, like,
Fun.
brilliant. I love those lines.
That is a very
Roasting the internet and DeviantArt all at the same time. It's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's not just limited to them. I found out something about Felicia after this fight.
What's that?
Well, all of the
I don't get
Capcom
monetized
goals,
anyway, Richard. It's fine. What? Sorry.
Out of all of the goals that have ever been developed by Capcom, Felicia, let's just say she has the biggest measurements.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Okay.
All right,
Gosh.
okay. Before that sounds perverted, that's confirmed by Capcom themselves.
Of course it is.
Gosh dang
Don't
it.
look.
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, Capcom's the same company that left this series to die in the first place, so I mean, I can't really take their word for granted anymore. Until
True.
until DMC5 Special Edition comes out, then I'll be gushing over. I'll be going back to gushing that company. Anyways,
Also,
Yes.
Cat Dummy, I need it. Okay, that's...
Hey, I want a plushie of Dummy.
Yeah, I agree. We need a dummy plushie. Anyway, okay, that's it. This episode's
Yeah,
slapped.
okay.
That's it.
All right. Now that we're done with Halloween, it's time to move on to the month of being thankful. And what we must ask ourselves: what are we thankful for?
I'm
when it
thankful
comes to
for Red
thankful?
versus Blue.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Agreed.
Okay.
Also,
so-
Thanksgiving isn't a thing in my country.
Well,
That's-
geez,
I
you don't
figured.
have to ruin the punchline.
Gosh.
Okay, so I think it's worth pointing out this is probably going to be most of the discussion on this podcast.
It's a fun.
Wrapping up our thoughts on this one compared to the last one. With that in mind, there really isn't much to cover as far as production or just excitement is concerned. Because I'm pretty sure all our thoughts haven't changed since the last time we talked about this.
No, they do. I mean, I'm still excited for it. I can't wait to see it, and
It's
I'm
just,
curious to see what's gonna happen.
There's just more stuff we gotta bring up and address, especially considering. Okay, so before they were taken down, admittedly, I did watch the previews.
Yeah.
The Red Team preview, because a couple of my friends told me some stuff that was brought up in them, and I just thought, okay, you know what, I already kind of had it spoiled for me, why not? And then I assumed the Blue Team preview would have the same result, so I watched that. So I know some stuff that gets brought up.
Yeah.
So that'll help
Yes.
give us a clearer
Yes.
idea on some stuff.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yes, we
There
all
are-
do.
There are a couple production things I want to bring up though that have come up since the last discussion. One, it's not Chocodero doing the music for this one. That's big sad. Instead, Darewolf is doing it.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, it's the first time we've seen them since Wonder Woman She-Ra.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yikes.
That wasn't a good note for them to leave off on.
Oh wait,
Sad
they
note.
did. Oh wait, I'm dumb. They did the tracks for Death Race. I forgot about that.
They
Oh,
did,
right.
yeah.
Okay, never mind. So it's the last time we saw them since then. I guess that makes I guess that makes the string of Brandon tracks make a lot more sense now. Also, so I guess we should point this out now. This is more of a debate aspect thing, but this does lead into a production thing. We do know the confirmed team members.
Yep, it's for Red Team, Sarge, Griff, Simmons, Donut, Lopez, with the Warhog, versus Church, Tucker, Caboose, Tex, and Sheila.
Yep.
I'll admit I'm a little iffy on Tex being there because technically she's not a blue, she's a freelancer.
I mean, given what they're going for, like with Wyatt, like with
Yeah, I get why she's
The
there.
idea,
It's
but-
just
I get it.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it.
Plus I like Tex, so I mean.
Same.
But this is important because we now get to see who's going to be voicing both Tex and Caboose in the future of Red vs. Blue.
no pressure to
yes.
them, by the way.
No pressure.
Oh, they'll do fine.
Now I know last time we had a bit of we had a discussion on whether or not they'd bring Joel back.
No.
As it turns out, I did some research. As it turns out, the public announcement of him getting "quote unquote" laid off, that was months after the fact.
Whoops.
Chances are he was actually laid off in like fall of last year, so probably around November time. Yeah, there's no way they're bringing Joel back.
Sadness.
And then Kathleen, she left years ago, so
Yeah, she's not coming back.
Yes. We know.
so yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be our taste on the new voices for Caboose and Tex.
I did have this thought for a Tex voice actor, and this will go into something I'm going to talk about later. What if it's Marissa?
That'd be funny.
Especially funny because
Be funny, but
here's the thing. We gotta bring up something about Tex for this debate.
Oh gosh. Okay. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll go into that later.
I had a thought for Caboose. Because in season 15 we meet like
Loco.
Yeah, Loco. It was like a different like Caboose on a different blue team.
Technically the original, if you really think about it.
It's weird. Season 15 is a weird season. I'm honestly not a huge fan, but as the worst main villain in the entire Rooster Teeth history, man, I hated Temple.
agreed.
Anyways, as it turns out, I thought Loco was voiced by Joel. He's not. So, but because of that idea, maybe him. I don't know.
It could work.
So that's just my thoughts. I have no idea who they'd get to voice Tex, but actually that actually brings up a question. Is Bernie gonna be coming back?
I don't see any reason why he couldn't. Now, yes, he did leave Rooster Teeth. That's only because he moved to a different country, and he did say that he would still be able to voice characters.
Oh, okay.
Then
So,
there you go.
yeah, we should see him come back to voice Church and Lopez.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Just
And
in
then the
case
rest
anyone
of it.
didn't know they were voiced by the same dude.
Yeah, I
That's-
didn't. I didn't know until I was looking up the voice actors for reasons.
Oh, little fun fact. Do you remember those .0 from season 11?
Yeah.
He's voiced by Shannon McCormick, the voice of Washington.
What? Okay.
No, they made it an ongoing joke. The red team's robot would be voiced by the blue team's leader.
That's funny. Okay.
I love that.
I like that. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. I don't think there's much else to go over. Oh, they said this, like, the story for this one is basically what if the Reds and Blues actually did fight back in Blood Gulch. So I guess in case there was ever any doubt, there's confirmation on where this fight's taking place.
I mean, it would have to take place in
Yeah.
Blood Gulch. If not, we riot, right?
Yeah. Like it's
I
kind
wouldn't go that far.
of
It's called a joke.
yeah, it's kind of clear. I don't know how that would make for a very interesting battlefield. But
You say that, it's still one of the most popular maps in all of Halo.
I know, but it's very much like it's pretty, but aside from that, it's a very uninteresting map. It's just
You're
it's
not
big.
wrong.
It's big and it's empty.
It's a box canyon.
I know, but that doesn't make for a very interesting battlefield.
Doesn't
I don't know, they'll
leave
probably-
a lot of environmental to a lot of creative environmental takedowns either.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure.
I mean,
they'll-
they could have some close quarters fights, like, in the bases.
That's true.
Like, they could have people up on the cliffs, going into caves. Like, there's things you can do.
They could have Church perched up in the cliffs, failing
And he
to shoot
misses
with sniper
every
rifles.
fucking shot.
That's his thing. He's a terrible shot with every single gun he's got.
Correct.
Yeah,
there's
even this scene in season 6 where
I was
he's
just-
right next to a dude. He fires every single shot in his pistol, point blank, and misses.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like 5 feet away from the dude.
Gosh.
He's very like. This dude is not a
Yes.
fighter at all.
No, he is not. Like, the best thing he has is knocking out Sarge at one point.
Yeah,
But that was like when Sarge wasn't paying attention. It was a sneak attack.
yeah, which I guess is a good way to segue into the debate.
All right.
Just kind of getting.
So,
We had a lot of things we could have said in the last one, but we didn't say them because of time. So
yeah, and
so we're gonna continue them here.
not only that, but now because of the previews being a thing before they were taken down, I've got some new stuff to bring up.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy,
Alright.
the other possibilities
Try and
they can
keep
have for
it-
these characters is ridiculous.
Yeah, let's try and keep it very short.
Okay, so in the Red Team preview, they brought up how Simmons was able to change his armor in 4 seconds.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I will just point out a little correction here. The Spartan armor isn't taken off and put on by Spartans themselves, it's done by machines. Like, they get into a spot and just like machines, like, hook it up to them. Just
Yeah.
clearing that up. It's even in the ending of Halo 4, you can look it up.
Yeah. Plus, I was always under the impression that it was the same armor. It was just painted.
Yeah, I always thought we just washed it, but whatever. I mean, if anything, that would make the feat even more impressive.
True.
So if that's how we're looking at this, Griff also has a really ridiculous speed feat where he can construct and hide inside of a snowman wherever he wants.
Yeah. He built a
Yes.
snowman. He built a snowman in Blood Gulch. There's no snow there.
Not only that, he built a snowman in the middle of the capital.
A desert, yes.
What's it called? The city they're all in season 13.
Oh shoot.
Ammonia, that's it.
Yes. Thank you.
God, I'm such a Reverses Blue nerd.
Yes. So am I.
Oh, and at one point when he, Simmons, Tucker, and Caboose were all in a cave, not only did he build a snowman for himself, but he built a snowman for each of them.
Yes.
In the span of, like, less than a second. So not only can he do that really fast, but he can just spawn snow into existence.
Because that
Apparently.
makes sense.
Because, that makes sense.
Yeah. Caboose also has a feat where he gets from in front of Temple when he's up on a cliff to behind him without him even noticing. So that's gonna be, like, what, faster than I?
Something like that.
Right. I can't really think of any for Tucker that would be on that, although he has great hearing.
Yeah. He also has great eyesight.
Oh yeah, because he was able to tell Sister was a girl from the red base to the middle of the canyon without a sniper rifle.
Yeah. His logic is literally like Caboose even
Dude,
mentioned
look
like,
who you're
dude, you have a
talking
good
to.
eye. Like, Caboose mentioned like, yeah, dude, man, you have really good vision. And Tucker's like, I have to. I never get to use the freaking sniper rifle.
And the one time he does do it, he shoots Tex in the ass.
Yeah.
Or as he says, I finally got to hold the sniper rifle and I unload a round to her ass. And Caboose says, hey, chicka bum bum. Although, actually, talking of Tucker, do you think it's worth bringing up the fact he gave birth to an alien?
I
Let's not do that.
yeah,
Um,
no.
we don't need to go on that for too long.
To be fair, he does care about that kid. He even carries
That's
a
true.
photo of him everywhere he goes.
Yes.
That picture is fucking hilarious, by the way.
My gosh.
Yes, it's hilarious.
It's Junior with his high school basketball team.
Anything
no,
else?
it wasn't high school. It was 4th grade, I think it was. And it's just these little kids with a massive elite behind them.
Oh dear.
Caboose
Anything
has
else?
Caboose has a golf club. He can go Last of Us Part 2 on their butts.
I'm gonna kill you.
Gosh,
I had to bring that up. I'm sorry.
No, you did not. But
You know,
apology
I don't know.
accepted.
I don't know if they bring this up, but at one point, Griff got an energy sword of his own.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Does he still have that?
At the end of that whole saga, I looked to make sure he just had a battle rifle and a pistol.
Okay, well, is there any indication that he doesn't have it anymore? Because they could bring that up.
I don't think that was. It wasn't really brought up after that season.
Okay. Because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things we're noting in our blog that the characters technically don't have access to anymore. We're just mentioning them for the sake of completionist's sake.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Like like in the blog, like this is just a blog thing. We're mentioning all the alien stuff that like all the alien weapons they've got. Tucker had active camouflage at one point, as well as the meta suit.
He's not gonna have the meta suit.
No, he's not gonna have the meta suit.
Yes.
There is one thing of the metas that could be brought up, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. This one. Oh, the reason I mentioned that is interesting. So for a while, Caboose had an AI in his gun. That.
Freckles.
Yes,
Yes.
Freckles. And the reason why he had that is because it was much safer for an AI to control it rather than Caboose. You want to know how they tested that? They give Caboose the rifle for about 5 seconds.
Boy, that was a busy day at the hospital for Dr. Gray. Who, by the way, is a fucking amazing character.
Yes.
And she's also voiced by Aaron Zek.
Yes, the voice of Blake. That's amazing.
I'm serious. Go watch Red vs. Blue for Dr. Gray. You would be very surprised that it's Aaron.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
Trust
like Aaron
me.
at all. Yeah, it doesn't sound like Aaron at all. At least comparing that to Blake. I mentioned that he did have that in his gun because he does install Freckles back into a smaller robot body. So
Yeah, it's like a tiny mantis that doesn't have any lethal weapons on it.
yeah, so Caboose does have control over the rifle again. But I wonder if they'd mention or they'd allow Freckles. Reasons.
I don't. Well, I mean, if they do, Red Team is fucked.
True.
Like, there's no way they can win.
Well, I mean, like, Freckles in the gun, not, like...
Yeah, Freckles in the gun,
Freckles
they stand no chance. Because, he has this little command, which is Command Aimbot. It does exactly what you think it does. What Caboose has to do is hold onto the gun as tight as he can.
Oh gosh.
His poor hand never stood a chance. Oh, and for anyone wondering, when Freckles is in the gun, what happens when Caboose pulls the trigger? It fires confetti and makes a party sound.
Yes.
And I love that so much. But back to the debate stuff. There is an alien thing that I really want them to include just because it make the fight more fun to watch. The Griff shot.
Yes, I want them to include that too.
And if no one knows what I mean, it's the Meta's brute shot. Griff kept it trophy, and he has used it from time to time.
Yeah, remember in Meta vs. Carolina when Boomstick grabbed the brute shot and shot Griff with it, and Griff was like, "Hey, that's mine." Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I almost forgot about this, but in the fight with the Reds, Tucker, and the Meta, turns out that thing can block the energy sword.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nuts.
Yeah. I know like where you're going with that, comparing that to like maybe Griff could block Tucker's energy sword.
I don't know if he really can. I'm just saying he has something that could.
Yeah. Yeah, Griff is definitely not as much of a swordsman as Tucker is. So Tucker will be able to get around it. I think we should also mention. Okay, actually, before we do that, because that's kind of a
before I
big
forget,
thing.
Before I forget, there's a thing I've seen people bring up with Griff that I'm just gonna shoot down, and it's the logic that Sarge is going to kill Griff in the middle of the fight and just screw over Red Team. Okay, two things. One, Sarge hates the Blues more than Griff,
Yeah.
so he's gonna prioritize killing them. He'd find some excuse to kill Griff afterwards, if he's not already dead. But
If any red team is gonna have even a slight amount of consideration of team killing and screwing over their team, it's Lopez. And even
the
then,
other
I don't
thing-
think so.
The other thing, if we're going by that logic, Tex should take any chance to kill Tucker just so she can take his energy sword.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he found that, she wanted it.
Also, Caboose is like the master of team killing, so
So if
You know,
anyone is going to die by team killing, it's Church.
yeah. Okay. I think we should get major details out of the way. Oh, wait, hold on. Sheila, I honestly think is a non-factor.
Yeah.
Same.
I honestly think
Because-
she's not that important to this fight.
Yeah, because name me one time she's hit anything other than Church.
Yeah, the most she's capable of is like intimidation.
Yeah.
She'll scare the red team away, sure, but like she never kills anything aside from Church.
Yeah. Also, Griff, Sarge, and Simmons have survived shots from Scorpion tanks. I'm not joking.
And Donut blew it up.
Oh no, Donut. Well, Donut didn't blow up the tank. He like killed Tex and made the tank kind of inoperable. Griff has, in a way, blown up a Scorpion. It was in the alternate ending season 5. He like punched it
I don't think
until
they'll
it
count
exploded.
that.
Tucker did the same thing, but it took him way longer.
He punched the radiator of it for like 5 minutes, and it finally blew up.
Yeah, Griff did it in like a couple seconds.
Yeah, I don't think they'll count that. That's not canon.
I don't know. I still like. Well, Deathwell has brought up like, oh, in alternate timelines, like this stuff has happened, so we might consider that. I just thought I'd bring it up, just
Yeah,
just in case.
just in case.
Yep.
Okay. To get some let's get some major details out of the way. This is mostly for blue team. If you haven't noticed, the general consensus is blue team wins. But me and Nate actually have reason to believe that red team aren't as screwed as people say they are.
Yeah, the Reds actually have better odds than people think.
I will say I do want to make it clear because this could be this. I feel like I've kind of been making sort of. I feel like there's been a misunderstanding. I'm not saying that red team wins. In fact,
Nor am I. I'm
kind of
just
the opposite.
bringing up
I'm kind of
stuff
the
that-
opposite. All things considered, I do think blue team has the better chance to win. But I don't like. People are really writing off red team as being completely screwed. And I don't think that's the case.
For me, it comes down to one thing, and we'll get into that later, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have seen some people say, "Oh, purely because Tex is involved, blue team win."
Tex is such. Tex is
kind
so
of.
weird.
'Cause- Okay.
I definitely get it. I get the thought process.
Because number one freelancer, duh.
Number one freelancer, and she completely mopped the floor with Sarge, Griff, Simmons, and Tucker. But
There's an
okay.
important part of a character to consider.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna go full nerd on this. So Church is the alpha AI. The one the director and Project Freelancer managed to get a hold of, but they needed more. so they wanted to fragment it. One of those fragments was the Beta AI, who was the memory of the director's deceased wife, Allison. Yeah, for anyone who didn't catch on, Tex is the Beta AI.
Yeah.
And because of Allison dying in real life, and that being what the director remembered of her, that is tied into Tex's programming. So no matter what she does, she is destined to fail in the end.
Now, they did mention that in the Blue Team preview.
Yeah, and they said, yeah, she can win fights, but overall her main objective, she's gonna fail at it.
Yes, but see, here's the thing. That's more of a personal baggage than it is in actual combat. Because, again, I feel like people are using that as an excuse as, oh, well, then that means the Blues are either going to lose or Tex is going to be taken out immediately.
Not necessarily.
She's destined to fail.
Now, what I'm saying is Tex is destined to fail, but that doesn't mean she can't mess up Red Team enough for Blue Team to then, take the victory.
Yeah. Yeah, Tex is definitely going to... I think it's pretty obvious, regardless of which team you're on, Tex is going to be doing a lot of damage in this.
But then ultimately fail at the end.
If they choose to go that route.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible that, because Tex has won fights. Like, she's mopped the floor with other freelancers. Like I said, other members of Red and Blue Team. Then again, Church is, like, not a fighter at all.
Also, she was killed by Donut.
Yes, true. But that was more for comedic value, and she did not see that coming, so I do not apply that to something. I don't apply that to anything. I just feel like that is strictly more comedy than it is, oh, Tucker took her out. That means he can take her out in a... I'm sorry. That means Donut can take out Tex in a one-on-one fight. No, he just got lucky.
Plus, I mean, this is gonna be a super weird argument, most likely a stretch. I'm aware of this, but hear me out.
Okay.
So, the Beta AI was wiped out in an EMP by Agent Washington.
Yeah.
But after that, Epsilon, who managed to get away. What the heck is that beeping?
Sorry, that's me. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, so, so after Epsilon got away and Caboose basically formed him into Church, who was also wiped out, Epsilon, kind of, sort of fragmented himself, and made, an Epsilon copy of Tex, and that's what was used to mop the floor with the Reds.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was essentially Beta 2.0.
Yeah. Now I think this could probably. So what they're using Beta Tex.
Yes.
Like actually, in the preview, they did bring up her catching that storage crate in the fight, which was Beta 2.0.
Yeah, but again,
I'm sure Beta Tex should be capable of that.
I'm sure they're I think in that case they're not compositing, but they are saying that okay, anything Beta 1.2 anything Beta 2.0 could do, it's not out of the realm of possibility 1.0 couldn't do the same.
Yeah.
Although while on that topic, it looks like they're going with Alpha Church.
Yeah, I'm gonna be bringing that up too, because I'm very passionate about the differences between Alpha and Epsilon.
Yeah, because Alpha never really regained the whole I'm an AI.
I want to finish up on Tex real quick.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's finish up on
that. Okay, well, first off, if we're going under the assumption that they're going to be treated like Beta Tex and Epsilon Tex are going to be treated as different characters, then that kind of hinders Tex quite a bit. Not to an insane degree, but it does make her as much of a deal breaker as she's claimed to be, because the big argument for Blue Team now that Tex is involved is she wiped the floor with 3 out of 5 of the Reds, plus Tucker. And that's it. That's pretty much the main argument people are using for Tex. But if we're applying that same logic,
I think I know what you're about to talk about.
If we're applying the same compositing rules, the Reds minus Lopez, and the Blues with Washington, Carolina, were able to take down an entire room of Tex bots.
That's something else.
So plus like that was in season 8. The Reds and Blues have definitely improved since then.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of one of those things where it's like it actually harkens way back to Goku vs Superman 2. They're using the characters at their maximum potential, not some random point in their timeline. So yes, Tex did beat the crap out of the Reds at one point.
And believe it or not, there was also a point where the Reds beat the crap out of her.
Yeah, Sarge knocks her out in one hit.
That's not a joke. That happened.
Once.
Yeah,
And
and
only
Tex beat the crap out of the Reds once.
Yes, but again, I've seen a lot of arguments. I like to, from my 2 cents in, I've seen a lot of arguments is for that being another reason as to Tex losing, because Donut was able to take her out with his throwing skills, and because Sarge was able to knock her out once. That's good enough for Tex to be taken out of the game. And I personally disagree with that because I see the whole Sarge punching Tex thing as a complete outlier because he only was able to do it once and never again. Meaning if they did go full-on fisticuffs, one-on-one, Sarge would put up a good fight, but I feel he would not get that same amount of luck that he got against Tex the first time around.
The other thing too is that Tex. This is a minor thing. I use this argument as a joke, but Tex is easily manipulated by money, and Griffin Simmons know as such.
Oh God.
So I don't know. I just kind of thought like in my head, like as a joke, like maybe like Griffin Simmons will be like, "Hey, by the way, I'll kill you. I'll pay you $10 to kill the Blues," and she'll be like, "All right."
Oh God.
I don't actually think they do that, but it's just funny. Funny to think about. Okay. There's another argument I could make regarding Tex, but it also plays into church. So.
Is it the possession?
Yes. So I guess in that sense, let's talk about church.
Okay.
About church.
Okay. Full disclosure, if it wasn't for the possession thing, church is borderline useless.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I love Church. He's probably my favorite character in the show.
Same.
But if it weren't for the fact that he could possess other people, he has no business being in this fight.
No.
Now, we mentioned Alpha and Epsilon before. I do want to get into that. So I don't feel comfortable compositing Alpha with Epsilon.
Honestly, nor do I.
Now, on paper, yes, Alpha is the better AI. That's to be clear.
There's just one issue.
Church doesn't know that.
Yeah, he never really accepted that he was an AI. Like, even by the end of Season 6, when Alpha died, he was like, I'm a ghost. Boom, motherfucker.
Yeah. Like, it's... all of the crazy AI powers that Epsilon has, well, yes, Church, like Alpha Church, should be capable of all of that too. He doesn't know that, and I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure it's really hard to use your abilities if you don't know that you have them.
Yeah, like, I don't think it'd be fair to say, oh, randomly in the fight, Church is gonna magically go, I accept that I'm an AI, and then become a god or something.
Yeah. Now, the main argument regarding Church is possession, and
yeah,
that's gonna be a problem.
And this is what the fight hinges on, for me, is that can the Reds counter that? If they can, then they have a great shot of winning. If they can't, they lose.
I do not think they can, personally.
There are only 2 Reds that have any sort of answer to it.
One of
Simmons,
them being Lopez.
Yeah, one is Lopez, the other is Simmons.
Fighting it and resisting it.
Yeah, Lopez is building up a resistance to Church's possession, and I guess in turn Tex. Because all this applies to Tex too.
Talking of Lopez, I should address this. Technically, he's older than the universe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird to think about.
Continue, Brobuscus.
Anyways, so Lopez should be able to fight off Church and Tex at least for a while.
Yeah, but
and the more that Church does it, the more Lopez can resist it. Now with Simmons, I wouldn't blame people for not knowing about this. In fact, I didn't know about it.
He's a cyborg.
No, not the fact that he's a cyborg. This is actually a season 14 thing. So when I said before that season 14 is like virtually like not worth looking into for this fight, I guess I was wrong. Simmons has he can't resist it, so they should still be able to possess him, but hang on, I'm trying to Simmons had a plan for if he were to be possessed by Omega. Like he planned on that, and he has like he should be able to come up with some sort of countermeasure to it. Plus, I don't know. Maybe they could. When Simmons was possessed by Omega in season 5, season 14 shows that Simmons is able to talk with the people that possess him. So I don't know. Maybe he could distract Church or Tex, and in turn that would help other Reds break him free. I don't know. That's kind of a stretch argument, but yeah. The main countermeasure possession Red that English
the Ampog.
It's Lopez.
Oh right.
Lopez should be able to resist it. I don't think they're gonna bring up the Ampog.
I mean, I think it's at least worth like mentioning, like at least for discussing the episode. Like they might not bring it up like in the analysis, but like,
okay, so
especially considering it was built by Sarge.
Okay,
well,
so
designed by Sarge and built by Lopez.
Okay, so for all of one season, the Reds had a Warthog that shot a cannon that uses the same technology as the EMP that knocked out the AIs. By the way, for Red vs. Blue fans who have no idea what we're joking about, EMP is an EMP.
Right, which spells EMP.
Yes. We're just gonna keep calling it that when we're talking about Red vs. Blue. So they have a Warthog that that uses the same technology as the Emp that knocked out the AI.
So basically, if that hits Church, Tex, or Sheila, they're dead.
They're dead.
The only drawback is that it stalls the hog whenever they fire it.
Yeah. So, yeah. If they have that, that's a really big. That helps Reds. That helps the Reds a lot. But I don't think they'll bring it up because that, like I said, that was in one season.
Yeah, it was just one season, and they never used it ever again.
Yeah. So, yeah. That does kind of throw away a big advantage for the Reds. But,
would it be something that they could have used? Would it be something that in one of these outcomes they would have had? I think so, but I think given that they love to that their main motto is they don't do these fights out of one of these possibilities. They go through all of them, and in all of these circumstances, I do not think that's going to be given to the Reds.
Actually, that is a thing that a friend of mine brought up, but well, okay, his logic was that, well, Carolina only used the shock baton in one season, in one fight, but she had it in her death bow. So
that's different.
It's different because that didn't really make a difference to that debate, and it was just done to make the fight look cool.
Plus, like, there's nothing to, there's no reason to assume she doesn't still have them.
No.
She just doesn't use them. They're portable. You can't just, like, the Reds aren't just gonna bring in a random warthog to Blood Gulch, out of nowhere. That's not happening. So yeah, the warthog they're getting is definitely going to be the
standard warthog that they always have.
Which I also think is kind of a non-factor. It's more maneuverable than something like Sheila, but
Oh wait, hang on. Like, okay, so I don't know how they'll go with Judge's possession, but there are two explanations as to how it works. There's either neural implants that freelancer personnel have, which was done way later, or in the classic season, it was via the radios in their helmets. If they go by that logic, Red Team could just switch theirs off.
That was for Omega, not Church. I mean, Church was able to possess Sarge perfectly fine.
Yeah, true, actually. Yes, I guess it'll be the implant route, which is the way I'd do it. I just thought that was worth bringing up.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Yeah,
oh, there is one thing I want to bring up that was brought up in the Blue Team preview.
Oh, okay.
You remember that bomb from Season 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. They mentioned that in Blue Team's preview. And, by the way, if we are seriously counting that, then it should also count for the Reds. I have a bit of an issue counting that because it's wildly inconsistent with everything else. In fact, I haven't heard of a single Halo feat that's on par with that, so unless we're saying that these guys are tougher than fucking Master Chief, then alright. Okay, they also brought up that it was 50 megatons, but it was stated to be 10, which is weird.
It was...
Also, considering it was built by Sarge and he blows things out of proportion, then it could be BS. But
it was amped by Lopez's weather machine. So my guess is that they took the 10.
Oh, sorry.
My guess is that they took the 10 megatons thing into account and calced the actual explosion on top of that. So it's probably something we'll see in the Reds analysis in the full episode. Yeah, I was confused by that too because I know Sarge accidentally said 50.
Yeah.
Before the bomb went off, and Simmons corrected like, it's 10 actually.
Also, considering it also like, okay, so they say the bomb like sent them into the future, but then it's revealed they didn't actually time travel. But there's a whole thing with church time traveling. I do have my own little theory on how that really worked. Basically, like that whole time travel thing, like I could theorize it was all BS that Gamma did just mess with church. Which is possible considering Gamma was one of the AIs that put Alpha through those scenarios where he couldn't like work out everything, and they even say that the computer like replicates a whole bunch of stuff until it solves a problem, just like Church did.
Yeah, but I mean the bomb does go off in Church's body, so I don't know.
It's weird. And the other thing that I have an issue with is that if we're taking that into everyone's durability, none of them can kill each other.
Yeah. It's also like such a like if we're talking like straight durability, it's also like people use that as an argument for Blue Team because it was mentioned in the Blue Team's preview. The Reds survive it too.
It would apply to Red Team as well.
So you know, it's if we're talking sheer durability, they're both still even in that regard too. So you know, it's kind of at that point it's kind of a non-factor, but yeah. I personally think this is a battle that comes down more to experience and skill, rather than just straight stats because they all get the same stuff. And so in that sense, also, if they're not getting the Empog, how are they going to take out Church and Tex? Because yeah, they could kill their bodies, but they're still going to live and fight as ghosts.
That's what I think is going to happen. They're just going to kill the physical versions of them, but not the actual AI parts of them.
There is a prediction I came across, and this guy talked about if we count that as like a death as a death thing, a little iffy in this fight in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, if we went by that logic, then yeah, Red Team's chances are way higher.
True.
But I don't think that will really play a factor.
No. I mean, if we are going by that logic, then that does really help out the Reds. Because if Church and Tex do go for possession, that leaves their bodies wide open. So they could just end it there. But I think that's a bit weird to argue in this case.
Plus, if Red Team have any edge in this fight, I would say that it's that they honestly work together as a team better than the Blues.
Oh yeah, that was another big thing. So it's pretty much confirmed at this point that the reason why the Reds and Blues survived as long as they did, against people like the Meta or Malcolm Hargrove,
Felix and Locus.
Yeah, it's the fact that they work together as a team, and this was also a big factor in Meta versus Carolina. And Sarge even brings up like the teamwork is why they're able to bring down other freelancers. That's why they were able to kill the Meta.
And Wyoming. Several times, in fact.
And given the fact that the Reds do overall have better teamwork than the Blues, I think that's definitely a really helpful factor. I don't know if it'll be enough, but it definitely helps keep them in the fight longer than I think people realize. Because if you look at it at face value, the Blues definitely have a more impressive roster to them. You have two AI, one of them is a freelancer. You have You have a skilled swordsman. You have whatever Caboose is supposed to be, and you have a tank. That definitely seems more impressive than a gruff redneck sergeant. Two rather lazy and I don't know how to describe Simmons.
Oh wait, this brings up something else I've seen people say about Griff. And it's with Griff's laziness, he's just not going to do anything and not help. Yeah, but when Griff gets serious, he actually gets stuff done.
Yeah.
And if they're going to take them at their best, this is going to be Griff putting the effort in.
Yeah. And Griff putting the effort in, walked from Italy to England.
That happened.
I don't get how, but
He also distracted the Blues and Reds long enough for Locust to break everyone out of prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should also bring this up. The Reds and Blues all left Griff on his own because he didn't want to go and, like, chase off Church the billionth fucking time.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's by himself. He kind of went crazy. And he made, like, volleyballs with all of their heads, just so he'd have something to talk to. He actually learned how to speak Spanish.
Yep,
Just
that definitely
for
helps.
Lopez's lines.
That definitely helps for Lopez. Yeah, because that's a big thing. None of the Reds understand Lopez because he speaks Spanish. I
mean, Donut attempts to, just not very well.
Not very well. But Griff does now, so yeah, there's something. I'm trying to think of other things. Okay, like I said, I do generally think overall that taking every possible situation, the Blues definitely have a better chance to win. So in that sense, yes, I am siding with the Blues. But I don't want to count the Reds short in any way.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
By the way, I forgot to mention this. Sarge killed Achilles.
Yes.
That's canon, because his future self said, "Oh, it never happens. I get frustrated and stab him in the foot." And he's all, "Oh, great, I did, future me!" And just stabs him in the foot.
If you ever realized by this point, all of these characters are fantastic.
They really are. Especially Caboose.
Brobuscus, we should probably wrap up sometime soon. My phone's dying.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, I want them to bring this up in the analysis. Caboose named Rooster Teeth.
That's right, he did! I forgot about that.
And I hope these ugly people name their company. Oh, God, those guys were ugly. Caboose's words. And more jokes about Broomstick being Sarge's son.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Please.
That's gonna be real depressing if blue team does win.
Oh, yeah.
Blue is one of my favorite colors, so I'm okay with it.
That's Richard's stake in this fight.
Yes. Two of my favorite colors are either going to win or lose.
Either my favorite team is going to win, or the team my favorite character is on is going to win.
Yeah, either way, we lose.
Yeah.
So that's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a situation where it's like, I don't want any of these characters to die, and now there's 10 of them! So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although we say that, Church and Tex have died how many times?
yeah, but like, if they die here, they're dead.
They're dead in the series, too.
That's true. Man, if any of the Reds, if okay, obviously, like, no matter who wins, neither side is gonna walk away with without casualties.
Yeah, both sides are having
no.
casualties.
I think it's going to come down to, like, in terms of who's going to be the last one standing, it'll probably end up being Caboose, Church, maybe Text.
No, if we're getting into this, if Blue Team win, I want the survivors to be Caboose and Church. Caboose and his best friend, like he always wanted.
Well, I mean, Text is obviously going to survive too.
If Red Team win, Griffin Simmons. And they say to each other, so I guess we have 2 bases in a box canyon now. Whoop-de-fucking-do. As a callback to the very first episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Either way, I'm sticking with the Blues. I think they're going to win. And I think in the end, roses were red, violets are still blue. Red team just got fucked by Michael J. Caboose.
I like that.
God.
I counter that with roses are red. That may be true, but violets are purple, not fucking blue.
Gosh.
So basically, moral of the story is either way, characters we like are going to die, and we're going to be upset.
Yeah, but it's going to be a fantastic animation, and
this is true.
If anything, I just hope Caboose kills Church.
We'll see. Considering this is going to be done in Unreal Engine, so.
Yep.
And Torian had a hand in this.
Yes, he did,
Yep.
and
Torian
this
used
is
this
kind
as
of a preview to RVB 0.
Yep. So look forward to that. Look forward to RVB 0. Watch Red versus Blue. I cannot emphasize this enough. Watch this show.
Yes, watch it. And
Yes.
if you're a fan of anything Rooster Teeth has put out, whether it be stuff like Achievement Hunter, Funhouse, Ruby, X-Ray, and Vav for as long as it lived, Camp, Genlock, Nomad of Nowhere for as long as that lived.
I was about to say. Yeah.
In case you're wondering,
If you love all those shows, if Red vs. Blue never happened, they wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Your Rooster Teeth membership, your Rooster Teeth ID is in the mail. You're only me.
Like, in a
also,
sense,
Death Battle would be very different.
Yeah, I was about to say, in a sense, Death Battle wouldn't exist either.
Well, I think it would
Ben-
still exist because Haloid and
yeah, but,
Deadliest
like, Ben-
Warrior would still be a thing.
Ben joined Rooster Teeth. Well, Ben joined Screw Attack because he wanted to work with Rooster Teeth.
Oh,
he wanted to work
yeah,
on Red versus
true.
Blue.
There you go.
Oh yeah, so we wouldn't have Death Battle either.
Wow.
There you go.
And in that sense, we also wouldn't have a lot of versus shows.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about? We would still have Bat in the Sun. They weren't inspired by anything.
My gosh.
I mean, yeah, there was also that versus series that Machinima did, but that was shit.
Yeah, it was so bad.
And we would still have Rewind Rumble. Here.
Stop that.
Hey, Mick got to plug shit. Why can't I?
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
Okay.
Also, I'm still here.
Yes.
Just a wrong.
So we should wrap this up.
Yes.
Yes. I need to get my phone live
I
support.
gotta go. So
Yes.
so thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah,
Bye, everybody.
bye.
Later.
Bye.